welcome to Frequency Matters, the bi-weekly industry update from Microwave Journal. We are editors David Vai and Pat Hindle, and every other week we will review the industry news and some of the features that are in the Microwave Journal. In our last installment of Frequency Matters, we talked about the cover story for our November issue and some of the content in our mobile communications supplement, which I have a copy of right here. But we didn't cover some of the other editorial features that were in the issue. So maybe, Pat, can you walk us through some of those?
The November issue is out now, and we talked about the cover feature that was on the Mobius resonator. And some additional material that is in there is the low noise oscillator designed by a Russian company on a conventional dielectric resonator. The design is very interesting. It seems like we've been getting more and more Russian articles and material, so it seems like that market may be growing. We also have an interesting story from Nuvotronics on the 3D micro-coax process, so really miniaturizing your 3D microwave waveguide type of structures.
Similar to the Nuvotronics thing is, the 3D manufacturing. LPKF was our most valuable product of the month. It's based on a laser direct structuring, so they're able to do a molded interconnect device, 3D. So this would be important for people who may be designing the antennas within a mobile structure. LPKF makes prototyping equipment, machines. So this would allow people to make basically a 3D structure of any kind. One of the examples they use is a conformal antenna that would be stuffed into like a mobile device. And we also had a product feature on the new release from Agilent ESOF, ADS 2014. They also are targeting complex designs, multi-chip modules and things where the density of the packaging and the ICs and all the electrical interconnects really interfere with each other, and you have to be concerned with thermal heat sinking, electromagnetic parasitics, and very complex layouts. So they have restructured the software so that there's more integration between the EM simulator. So there's a lot of good stuff in there, and more than I can cover right here, but it's worth checking out the article to see the new features.
Yeah, and then there's a few more on the product end. There's a L-band GaN device from Cree, and there's a 500 watt HPA from Empower, and we also have a 6 to 42 gigahertz radio chipset from Hittite, and finally there's a Linear Tech very broadband high dynamic range mixer. So there's a lot of product information in there, so check it out.
Clearly a lot more products that get released in the course of a month than we can cover in the magazine immediately, so we post those online. And one that comes to mind is the recent announcement from Tektronix. They have they've just introduced their MDO 4000B series of mixed domain oscilloscopes with enhanced spectrum analysis performance, a very wideband scope that allows people to do vector signal analysis on something like 802.11 testing.
Yeah, and on the social media front, again, we look on a lot of things on LinkedIn. And there was a conversation on there that I saw that was for a really way to miniaturize PCBs. It was a silicon level PCB design, so that's kind of in development right now that would highly miniaturize a PCB design. So we'll look forward to covering that in the future.
You know, what I like about the LinkedIn is I get the email alerts that there's a big discussion happening. So and that's when I tend to check in, and I did notice that there was quite a bit of activity around one from Fritz Casper from the CERN Institute, and he had observed a sharp increase of noise at the IF port using a high-level mixer as a phase detector, and I got a whole bunch of people chiming in and giving opinions and kind of helping him understand what was going on there. So it's definitely worth being part of that community.
Yeah,
and
it's a great way to network and get answers to your questions.
So in terms of live networking, what's happening lately? You recently went away?
Yes, I recently was at Milcom in San Diego, so look for my wrap-up pretty soon on that. Last year it was actually canceled because of the Sandy hurricane, so it's good that they got it going again this year.
And the focus is aerospace, defense, military people, and that's clearly a large driver for our industry. I recently came back from a trip to New Jersey where a lot of the vendors down there serve the military defense market, and they had a pretty good 2013. Everyone was pretty upbeat, but the common refrain was that nobody knew what was going to be happening next year. And driving back from that trip was the news on Lockheed Martin that they were laying off 4,000 workers, so that certainly would have some impact and be an indication of maybe not such great things happening. But counter that with we have a release on the website. Raytheon just won a $10 million contract for radar warning receiver technology.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
Mercury Systems got a subcontract from Raytheon. That
Yeah.
looked pretty impressive too.
Yeah, and I saw on the news, what struck me is MACOM purchased MindSpeed, so that really gives them some extra capabilities in the silicon germanium device area and also in the optical device area, so it's probably a good buy for them.
Speaking of which, we had the deadline for the EDICon call for papers, the abstracts at least, was November 15th. We got a flurry of them at the last minute, which was nice. We'll be covering a lot of technologies on the commercial and the communications and radar spectrum, I should say. LTE Advanced, there's a number of different flavors of that. Certainly device technologies, a lot of GaN. And I'm really impressed by the number of semiconductor companies that have started to, they're going to be exhibiting and participate in the conference. We'll see MACOM, NXP, Freescale, Cree,
Yeah, it's
to
a
name
good,
a few.
good mix
Peregrine.
now of,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
test and measurement software and semiconductor.
Yeah, which was the point of the show. So we're
Right.
looking forward to what's going on there.
Oh, great.
So I think that does it for this installment.
If you have any suggestions, send them to editor@mwjournal.com. And just remember, frequency matters.